Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing my 241st Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of the Deadpool and Wolverine Deadpool. Now taking a look at the front of the box, we can see some really cool artwork of Deadpool with an image of Wolverine reflected in his swords. And if we turn the box around, multiple images and panels showcasing the figure in multiple posing positions with his different interchangeable parts and accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's talk about Deadpool here. This is one I've been very excited for, as I love Deadpool, one of my all-time favorite characters, and it's really cool getting this version of Deadpool, more of a movie Deadpool, in the 112 Collective line. One thing I'm just going to straight up complain about, and this is, oh, that is really, really bright. I'm noticing right away, and I think a lot of you have noticed as well, the head sculpt and the neck look a lot darker compared to the actual cloth fabric of the suit itself. Now, I will say it is more noticeable when you're like light blasting this guy, because I have all kinds of lights on my station right here, so it's a lot more noticeable. But when I was playing with him in hand in my room, it was barely honestly noticeable. But now that I have more light on him, you could really see the difference. Now, what I will show, here's the original Mezco Deadpool. You know, the paint on this head matches the fabric almost perfectly. There's like almost no issue there. But with here, it really looks like they could have, used a little bit of a lighter Pantone of that red to match the suit a little bit better. Now, that doesn't take away from my joy of this figure, because it looks awesome, dude. There's so much cool detailing, again, like the little lining that Mezco does, but of course this is based on the actual movie suit. Looks really cool. I love all the little tiny bits of gold that you see throughout the figure. Just looks so awesome. I love that painted detail all throughout right here. Looks freaking rad. Again, all the lining looks awesome. Love all the little pouches here. The sword holster. Shut up, Bat Bomb. The sword holster looks really good. The sheaths in the back all look really good. But even the lining, like in the back of the leg and the back of the knee, all looks awesome. The paintwork looks really good. The tread on the feet look really nice. The head sculpt itself does actually look really good. A little bits of lining and the folding in the fabric all looks really good, man. I love how he turned out, honestly. If this were just a little bit lighter, he'd be like damn near perfect, honestly. But still, I've been love messing around with him. He looks amazing. Okay, so now let's talk accessories. So of course he does come with the Mezco circular base stand. It's in that Deadpool Wolverine logo with the slashes going through and the Wolverine mask peeking through like that. I think that's super dope. Such a great stand. And then of course we do get the clear articulated arm. We also get a ton of accessories becoming like interchangeable hands. I mean, you got gripping hands, different types of trigger finger hands. You have a finger pointing hand, thumbs up hands. You got even hands with these little little daggers that are like sculpted into the hands. Those are non-removable. But then you get all kinds of weapons. You got swords there, his katanas. You got some stiletto knives, some blast effects, some smaller guns with removable and extra magazines, which is a lot of fun. And then you get a little mug that says, "I like me," with a little heart. So that's really sweet. I do dig that a lot. And then it's really cool. All these weapons are just really nicely done. I love how you can just slide these in so effortlessly. These are some of my favorite swords from like any Deadpool figure that I've ever owned, honestly. They are so nice and clean. I really do dig that. Pop those in there beautifully. I love that. And then you can get his pistols, which are really cool. Because if you do look at the bottom of them, or the bottom where the magazine is, you can actually see a really nice sculpted Deadpool logo. I think that's super cool, so really good attention to detail with that. And again, these will just store inside his holsters right there. You even do get a little sheath right here for the stiletto knife, all the way at the bottom of the boot. Even though he comes with 2 extra ones, I kind of wish he would be able to store them, but I guess, you get extra just in case you lose them or whatever you want to do. Yeah, if you want to lose them, right? So that's cool. And then I will say something about this mug here that says "I like me." This is a really cool little accessory, and I keep brightening my camera too much, so let me, if I can get to see a nice little zoom in there like that. If you look at the handle, I'm already getting a little bit of paint wear on there just from putting it in the hands like once. See that? So, and once I pulled this out of the box, I just felt the paint felt very kind of powdery, you know what I mean? So I kind of already felt that it was going to scrape up a little bit. So just be careful, you know what I mean, when you're getting it in the hands. There is a specific hand for the mug holding, which I think is really cool. So again, so just be very careful and be aware that that's going to happen. Now, easily, in my opinion, the best accessory is going to be Dogpool. So I don't know if that makes this a 2-pack technically, but this is a static figure. It does not articulate whatsoever. That's disappointing, you know what I mean? But if you want really cool articulated animals, go check out what Hasbro do. They're doing great things over there. But still, the sculpt and the paint are fantastic on this little dude. I believe it's a girl, right? Because you got the little teats back underneath there, things like that. The belt looks really good. The sculpting and the fabric look awesome. You got the Deadpool belt. You got even a little gold like ring for a leash on there, which is super cool. Everything with even the texture of the fabric looks amazing. You got the little shoes everywhere, and that head, oh my god, so adorable, with the little white tuft on the top here, the long tongue just kind of hanging out. And it's cool that even the goggles are like clear lenses, clear plastic, so you can see the eyes behind that. But this is a great little accessory, man. I love having things like the Deadpool core and all the different characters, so having this version of Dogpool is a lot of fun. I would love Mezco to do other, you know, Deadpool core characters from the film. I think that would be amazing. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but hey, if you're listening to this, Mez, I mean, I think a lot of us would love that stuff. But anyways, Dogpool here is fantastic. I just wish he was articulated. Sorry, she was articulated. And I almost forgot to talk about the head sculpt in more detail, because we don't get an interchangeable head sculpt. I kind of wish we had gotten an unmasked head sculpt. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds' faces just cost a lot, his likeness, you know what I mean? But we do get interchangeable eyes, which I think is really cool. They're little eye plates, and they are magnetic, which is really nice. So you do get the more standard eyes, which look pretty good. I think those are really nice. You got ones that are a little more squinty. It kind of makes him feel like he's more smiling. But if you angle it, it can make him look a little more angry, which is really cool. We also do get ones that are a little more open, you know, when he's making his like surprise looks and things like that. So that's really nice. Then we got some that are a little more asymmetrical, which is good too. You know, Deadpool is very expressive through that mask, which I do appreciate. And they are interchangeable, and you can mix and match different eye plates if you need to, which is really nice. And if you can see here, it's actually super easy to take these off. Again, they are just done by magnets, so I just take my nail and you can see that just comes right off. If you want to see how that looks without any of the eye plates, it looks really weird and goofy, but I kind of dig it. I don't know, but it's really cool, man. I love the fact that they did this. You know, Mezco very early on in this line used to utilize magnets quite a bit. I wish they would bring that back, and you know, magnetized parts would look really good for a lot of figures. So I think it's super cool that they're doing it with this figure. So let's go ahead and run down the articulation. The head and the neck are on separate ball pegs, so you get a lot of good motion there. Looks all the way down that far, all the way up about that much. That's really good. Rotates, pivots, all that kind of cool stuff. Arms can go all the way up, down, up and out to the side very nicely. Rotation at the bicep. We have double jointed elbows, rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. That's really good. It does feel like there's a double ball peg in the midsection, so that kind of rolls around, does twist left and right, pivot side to side, crunches back about that far, crunches forward probably about that much. I wish that were a little bit better, but still not bad. Hip joints can kick forward and up that far. Back, not so much. Splits, Van Damme style, all the way out about that far. That's actually pretty good. Rotation upper thigh. We got double jointed knees. The boot can rotate a tiny bit, and then we got those ball peg joints at the front there, so it can rotate up and down a little bit, and a pretty decent ankle rocker. So I do love that a lot. And what I do love also is that these hip holsters here have a little bit of like a fabric elastic piece right here that that'll help these stretch for like when you're posing them around and things like that. That's something that I didn't like with the original. That was like just a solid plastic, where here you get that elastic piece, so that really helps with the articulation. So again, overall, man, I think this is a really cool figure. I think he's awesome. Again, I just love Deadpool. Give me Deadpool in any form and I will love him. Especially if you got a Dogpool. It's freaking rad. Again, I just wish it was articulated, but still, This is a badass figure, man. I love him so much, and I cannot wait for Wolverine. And in my opinion, they are definitely a must-get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a movie Marvel Legends Deadpool and the original Mezco 112 Collective Deadpool. So there it is, guys, my review of Deadpool. Now, honestly, my only real complaint is that the mask, again, is a little darker than the rest of the suit, so it kind of throws it off a little bit. But honestly, when I'm just playing with it, outside of these bright lights that I have at my workstation, I've been really enjoying it. Again, it's barely noticeable in that way. I absolutely love all the accessories, the katanas, all the different guns, and the blast effects, the stiletto knives, all the different hand options, and I really dig the eye plates. I think it's super cool with the magnets. The function is very well done, so I love that. And it has really good articulation, so you can strike all those amazing Deadpool poses and things like that. I also love the fact that we get Dogpool. Dogpool's a lot of fun. It is a great sculpt with great paint. Again, my only complaint with that is I just wish it was articulated, but that's to be expected from Mezco. Honestly, this set is really cool in my opinion. I'm super stoked to get the Wolverine from the same movie so I can have these side by side. So I'm really excited for that one. I think this is a pretty badass piece despite those flaws that this figure does have. So for me, I think you would love him for your Mezco collections. And again, he is definitely a must-get. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.